Welcome to another video. If you don't know who I am by now, A, quite frankly, I'm surprised. B, you would know that I am highly regarded as probably one of the best anglers in the tri-state area at presenting soft plastics and close range combat. I mean, here, just have a look. The footage speaks for itself.
Loss number 5.
In this video, I'm going to talk about presenting soft plastic lures in Colorado for largemouth bass. In the Colorado, Kansas, Nebraska areas, I really only throw 3 types of plastic lures. And it depends on how active I feel that the bass are. Early in the spring, or it doesn't even have to be early in the spring, it really could be any time of year if it's post-front, whatever that the conditions may be where I feel they're less active. The least active that I feel that they are, I'm going to throw a stick bait of sorts, a Senko if you will, okay? The more active that I think that they are, I throw basically a beaver type bait. And then when it's full swing pitching mode, I basically go to a crawl. I rig the beaver and the crawl basically the exact same. I do a little bit different with the Senko as far as a different style hook, different line, and typically weightless, almost always weightless. When it comes to the Senko, I'm going to use an offset hook, and again weightless, and almost always a 4/0. If I kind of go down in size, I may go to a 3/0. But again, remember, I'm not talking about targeting smallmouth. It's a different scenario. But largemouth, you're wanting to throw a 4-inch minimum, 5-inch, pretty standard, all the way up to 8-inch. Actually, don't be afraid, even in Colorado, to throw a big Senko. You might be surprised. But anyway, so I'm going to end up using an offset hook. Okay, offset, what it means is this is offset. So this is an offset hook. This should be a 4/0. Like I said, if you have 4/0, it's basically all that I even own is 4/0s. I do have some 3/0s, but I usually don't go up to 5. There's no need. And I'm typically going to throw that weightless on 10 to 12 pound fluorocarbon. The craw and the beaver, on the other hand, I typically throw on a flipping hook. This is a Trocar 4/0 flipping hook. You can use whatever brand that you want. This is what I happen to use. I do actually fully buy into that these hooks penetrate better than any other hook I've personally messed with. I mean, other hooks are sharp. Gamakatsu's owners, VMCs, whatever. They're fine. They're sharp. This really penetrates though, and I don't. You'll notice I'm using 2 different words: sharp versus penetrate. This really penetrates very well. It's quite impressive. In fact, you'll blow through your plastics faster because it pokes holes through them way easier. One of the tricks that I'm going to do is when I rig it, I'm not going to let the lure go past the lure catcher part here. So you'll see that there's this lure keeper that's on this hook, and I'm not going to let the plastic go over that. You see that? What that does, so, and when I finally rig it, you can still get in there and get it straight. Do you see how it's not past the lure keeper? The reason for that is, believe it or not, when you're fishing around grass and stuff, or moss, or there's any vegetation whatsoever, and that little bit's poking out, you're going to spend way too much time picking off grass. And you can still get your lure on straight. You can even get it straighter than this. I just was doing it fast for the video, but to point out that, you know, the grass is going to slide right over that. You're not going to catch any of it. And you're not going to be bringing that back to the boat, and every cast having to take a little bit of grass off. Not having that grass on there, you're able to get more casts throughout the day, increase your odds of catching fish. I throw anywhere from 1/8 ounce up to 1/4 ounce, typically only 3/16 ounce weight. When it comes to tungsten, I do insert the weight still. You can go to Home Depot or Lowe's, any electrical place, buy any. I'll see if I can show you what I mean by inserting with this little piece here. It's all I can seem to find. I know I have more, but my boat is at the shop right now, and I've taken everything out of my boat, and I don't know where I put this stuff. But anyway, what you're going to do is I typically grab just the tip there, and I try and get it a little hot just so you can stretch it. Stretch it. Tiny. I'm going to hold it for a second. If it was long enough, I'd actually put it in my mouth and lick it to cool it off. Grab a pair of scissors. Cut it like so that you can angle it into your weight. And then you're going to take it and put it through the bottom side so I can grab it on the other side. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. You can do it. Okay, so I was able to get it through. I usually use much longer pieces. And then you're going to take your scissors and basically cut it flush. Boom. But it's not going to cut it all the way flush. You're still going to have to pull it a little bit with your needle nose. So you're going to take your needle nose from the front end and continue to pull. I kind of like roll it, actually twist it. You see I'm kind of twisting it. And then it kind of pulls itself flush. Okay? This end is going to have kind of a big hole on it. The top end of the bait is still going to have this little plastic piece here. You're going to cut that basically flush, but it doesn't cut all the way flush. You see that? So then you take your lighter again, just to the top part, not the bottom part, just to the top part, and you just put the lighter on it. Boom. There you go. There you go. It's inserted. The reason why I insert my tungsten weight is because tungsten is actually a rare metal. And when you're putting it on 15 to 20 pound fluorocarbon, which is what I use when I'm flipping or pitching, and you set the hook really hard, and your knot's at the top, and the line's here, or the line's on here, and the weight's on the line, and it slams down, you can break the knot. And the heat shrink in there acts as a cushion. If you are breaking off on the hook set and you've been using fluorocarbon, you should really consider inserting your weights. If you don't know what bobber stops are, we can talk about that real quick, depending on how fast I can find them. I know I have some in here somewhere. Are you kidding me? Bobber stops. I actually have multiple packs of these, but I don't. This is why I suck at fishing. You got the little plastic piece on there that goes to like this little wire. There's a loop on the other side of the plastic piece. You just run your line through the loop, right? And then pull the bobber stop onto it. You're going to put that on first, then your weight. You're going to tie your hook on, slide it down, and it stops your lure or your weight from sliding up and down. Basically, all of my reels are 6.3 to 1s for all of my setups. So again, I would use a faster reel if I had access to one. I'd probably even recommend it just so that you can get more casts in throughout the day, or if you're really trying to turn, get a fish's head, you get a bite, you're trying to catch up to your line. I would go with a faster reel if I could. I typically use a 6.6 medium heavy for my standard pitchings. Okay, the difference between pitching and flipping. So for my pitching, where I'm a greater distance away, I'm almost always using a 6.6. It's a little counterintuitive. Most people actually use bigger rods. Most of the pros will tell you to use bigger rods. Most everything you read, it's going to tell you to use bigger rods. I find a 6.6 works perfect for me. I'm very accurate with it. I'm way more accurate. I can hit a coffee cup from distance on the regular. So I can put the lure where I want. It allows me to not worry about hitting trees and things around me, or when I'm pitching for my rod to hit the water as I'm in the boat. So I use a 6.6. Now, when I go to places like Norton, I've even experimented it with Boyd, but when I'm getting into heavier cover, I find that I'm having issues getting fish out of the cover, like you saw in the beginning of the video. So in other words, all the time. I have been experimenting with the 7.6 heavy, but the results really haven't changed. So, but I will use a 7.6 heavy when I'm flipping, if you will, mostly in grass. But if I have wood or anything kind of around me, I actually prefer a shorter rod. I hope you liked this video. I hope you found it informative. I hope that you gently press on the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. I don't understand why you haven't subscribed. That's mind-boggling. It's okay. I won't know. You can hit it. You don't have to tell any of your friends. You don't have to acknowledge that you subscribed. But it helps me. So with my ego needs all the help. The next video coming down the pipes is most likely going to be a Horsetooth team tournament. It's only a couple of weeks away. So look forward to that. Otherwise, I may do something in the meantime. We'll see. But stay tuned. That's why you got to subscribe. You don't know when I'm going to post a video if you don't subscribe.